Hey, what's up guys? Dr. Colton King here at MoveWise Chiropractic. I'm with professional paintball player and owner of Mount Training, Greg Sewers.
Today we're going over a drill where it's actually something that you do every single time you're running out to the corner. It's super functional, but now we want to learn how you do it and why.
Today we're going to be showing you how to use dynamic neuromuscular stabilization, or DNS for short. We're going to show you a rolling pattern that transmits directly when you're running out and you're going from a sliding position to a standing one, so that way when you're coming up, you have power and efficiency when you're shooting down the lane.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay, we're going to go over that dynamic neuromuscular stabilization rolling pattern that we're going to be using to slide into our bunkers when we're getting out to the corner and to come up efficiently so we can shoot down the tape with power and efficiency. So the first thing that Greg is going to do is he's going to lie flat on his back. All right, he's going to get his legs up to about 90 degrees. This right arm is going to come up. His left arm is going to be his base of support. We want that to be about parallel, or 90 degrees. And so this rolling pattern, right, we're using oblique slings here. His left oblique sling and his right oblique sling. Now to generate movement and stability, this movement has to be pelvic driven, not shoulder driven. So what he's going to do is he's going to bring his right hip up toward his right shoulder. And then now he's going to initiate the rolling movement from his right hip. And he's going to roll into an upright sitting position. Okay, his legs come over. And so this is the common position. After you slide in, you're now about to get ready to come up into the position to shoot down your tape. So if we want to build strength in this position, there's a few exercises that we have to do. Now that we showed you what the whole movement looks like, we're going to break it down into smaller pieces. That's important because if you're trying to master a large movement without knowing how to break it down, if you can't build strength in the smaller aspects of the movement, then you're not going to be able to build strength in the larger components of the movement. So the first thing that you have to do is you're going to bring your legs up to 90. Okay. The second, most important thing that you need to do is you have to pressurize your core. What does that mean? So we can see that Greg has a little bit of a rib flare right here. To get rid of that, what he's going to do is he's going to take a big breath in and then exhale pretty hard. And that gets his ribs down and solid. His abs are contracting his ribs down onto his abdomen. So he needs to keep his ribs there while breathing down into his diaphragm, into his stomach. So when he breathes, we shouldn't really see much of any chest movement. He's doing a great job of keeping his ribs down and in. All right, so step one, legs up. Step two, contract the core. Step three is this arm comes up, this arm comes out. So this is going to be one of his bases of support. This arm is up because he's rolling to his left. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to bring this right hip up to his right shoulder because he's getting ready to roll to his right side. And he's initiating the movement from here, not his shoulders. So the first thing I want you to do is roll using your shoulders and not your pelvis. So we're going to show them. So it's a little sloppy, right? No power.
Ghetto fabulous.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to redo that. So left arm down. Okay, bring this hip up. So now we're going to roll doing a pelvic-driven movement. So he's going to start there, come up and over. So this position is the position that you're going to end up in before you stand up to shoot down your tape. From here, we can build strength in his shoulder. You have to have shoulder stability. This hand is going to be where the gun is, so you have to have control and stability. When you're with your free hand, we can build strength here using things like the TheraBand. We can also build hip strength in the bottom leg because he's going to have to push himself up and out to come up to the next step to shoot down the tape.
And these are some of these movements that you watch guys do, but you never really break down to understand why or how they do it. So you see guys at clinics diving into the ground, losing their gun, having a yard sale, blowing out a leg. Really, this is about injury prevention and efficiency in the movement. When you see guys like myself, like Chad George, go slide into this corner, dive into the corner hard, 100% effort every time, and pop up like it's their first point. You can see how this motion is going to become your slide as to where you want to be in your bunker, and using that momentum is not only going to keep you from getting injured, but it's going to make you more efficient in the game.
Next thing, once you master how to do the roll, now we need to know how to build strength in these different positions. So let's start with the shoulder, the bottom shoulder, which is the base of support. But before we actually start there, the most important thing we need to make sure is that your ridge, your stomach down here, is not sagging down towards the ground. So we don't want to be there, right? Because then we're not strong. Our core is not engaged and our spine is unstable. we need to make sure that we're pressing our ribs up and away from the ground, how Greg is right now. So now for the shoulder, to build strength and stability in this bottom shoulder, the first thing you're going to do is kind of sag down toward the ground so you get loose on the shoulder and then you push back up. Just like that, making sure that this is down, up. So you sag, you press up. Then you sag again, press up. So right now, he's building strength in this position. And this is going to be a major part of helping you push off so you're ready to shoot down the tape. So try practicing just doing 10 reps, but making sure that everything stays where it needs to stay. His ribs are down and in, he's pushing his ribs away from the ground, and then he's sagging into the ground with his shoulder, and then pressing back out of it. The next thing is we can grab something like a TheraBand. So we're going to work on stability and strength with the free hand. Okay, so you can put the band on, tie it to a squat rack or something, or you can do this with a partner, a teammate. All you're going to do is just going to add some tension here. And now I'm going to have Greg pull his arm up, back. Good, and then come back toward me. So now, burner, right? So depending on how strong the person is, lots of variables, I can either make it easier or I can make it harder by pulling more. Okay, so if you're by yourself, you can just tie it around the squat rack, just make it a little tighter, make it harder. Now if we want to progress this, remember all this time, he's having to make sure his shoulder is stable, his ribs are away from the ground. So now leave your arm in that up position. So we can make it harder by doing things like this. This one you're going to need a partner for. Right, but he's having to work really hard and engage a lot of things to keep his shoulder stable. We can see he's kind of shaking a little bit.
I got this.
Easy peasy, right? So then you come back down to the starting position.
Don't mind if I do.
So that's just a simple drill that you can do at the gym with a partner or by yourself. You just need a TheraBand. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is focusing on hip strength with the bottom leg. This whole time, remembering to push away from the ground, pushing the shoulder, your arm into the ground, so that way he's not sagging down toward the ground. He's being strong and pushing away from it. The next thing he's going to do to build strength in his hip is he's going to do almost like a side plank. And so he's going to push the leg into the ground to come up and away from the ground. There you go. Yeah, so it's a little hard to do. It's going to be a small movement at first. But this is important because when you're pushing off to come up into the next position to shoot down the tape, if you don't have strength in your hips to do this, you're going to be using other things to get this movement accomplished. But we don't want to do that. We want to have intent with our movement and focus on the things that are actually going to get us through the movement with efficiency to decrease our risk of injury.
I think the biggest thing right now is there's a lot of minute things that are going on that really apply to on the field motion, right? One of the most common injuries in paintball is rotator cuff injuries, right? We see a lot of blown out shoulders. There's actually 4 rotator cuff muscles. They're all really small, all intertwined in the shoulder, and simple movements that you feel like are wasting your time, like dropping your shoulder in and out, are going to strengthen those muscles, and they're going to counteract a lot of the things that you're doing every day, such as driving with your hands rotated and your shoulders in, sitting on a desk with your elbows bent and your shoulders in. Those are all motions that chronically destroy rotator cuffs and make it dangerous for us to do these movements on the weekends. So stick to these little motions. I know they're going to seem simple. Use them as a warm-up, use them as a preparation move before paintball, and I promise you will see results. So everything that we're doing here is always about being progressive, right? It's about developing your movement, developing your muscles, developing your body, but most importantly, developing your game. So you can expect some of these videos coming up to strengthen the next set of movements that you're going to be doing, right? So now we're sprinting, we're running out to the corner, we're sliding. The next development is getting up out of the slide. So you can see as this roll pattern develops, I'm tilting, I'm rolling. I'm going to work in this half kneeling position next, and we're going to get ourselves all the way up to our feet. But one step at a time. Master the first, get a solid base, and stay tuned for the next video.